Flooding the market, a break from the garbage. An artist, sensitive about mind pardon. No margin for error, flawless be bearer. The black cat goddess, you walking with a panther. Painting these pictures with words like Samantha MacGyver. Alchemy on the track, make it lava. And I won't stop rocking till I retire. Singular or plural, she break numero uno. Colder than you.
Hey, it's your girl, Madam Money, aka Trap, and welcome to the 3rd edition of Ass Trap. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and let's get it. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I like doing these little joints where, you know, I'm always asking questions on Twitter, so make sure if you're not following me on there, make sure you hop over to Twitter, follow Madam Money Says You Heard, because we have nothing but some of the most dopest hip-hop discussions on a daily basis. But I'm forever asking questions, so I always like to give time, you know what I mean, when y'all can ask me some questions and stuff like that. So first up, you feel me, my guy over there at J Baby Ears, it cracks me up every time. He would like to know, what are the funniest rap verses or bars in your opinion? And as soon as I read this tweet, I instantly thought of Akinele's Put It In Your Mouth. We have not heard nothing to that level of fucking hysterical and raunchy, and it just reminded me how, yo, they used to play that shit in the middle of the daytime on the radio. You feel me? You want to come up. It's just you want to go down, why not? Yo, you want to go down, why not? I'd be like, hey, hand you a cock and tell you that my name was Ock. Just dope. Just from the intro coming on with the girl singing, my baby left me. All of this shit, you feel me? I'm giving bitches permanent biz. Put your lips here and catch these damn facial hairs in your mouth. Crazy. That's one of the funniest shits ever to me. So thank you so much for that, J Baby. Ears. Salute to you. Look, you got me bugging out on this shit already. Next track on here, Pass Guta, my guy, Mr. DJ. Thoughts on Young M.A. as a rapper. Now, it's crazy because she came into the game and everybody respected her level of lyricism. You know, dropping freestyles after freestyle. She had the one banger she had out. You know, ooh, you feel me? But then when she started dropping projects, a lot of us, she kind of cut herself short staying in this box of being unequivocally LBGT. Well, a lot of us, we don't understand that life. We don't understand that culture. We're not a part of that stuff. So it came across a little bit odd for us, and it made a lot of us not even want to deal with it. So it's really, really, you know, different to be on that type of time when it comes down to her. But I like her as a rapper. I just wish sometimes she understand her audience is broader than, you know, what might be showing her love on the street. You feel me? That's it. That's all with that. Next, next question on here is by Blitz BK1, Blitz BK. How many times do you listen to a project before reviewing it? Now, it's crazy as hell because I write all my notations and stuff off of the first listen. And if I'm not in a space where I can actually write notes and stuff like that, and happen to hear your album, I might not go back to it and do anything with it, to be honest with you. Sometimes y'all be like, where's this review? Where's that review? And true, YouTube is trying to play me. They won't upload a lot of things I do. But if if your album drop and I'm in the car, or you're asking me to listen to your music and I'm in the car and I'm not in the proper space to write these things down, I'm going to listen to it that one time. But I really just like the genuine feel that I get off of listening to something once. Now, if it's a little tougher thing, because, you know, I consider myself well-versed to do this. You hear me? That it doesn't take me multiple times or something like that to get a real grasp of what's going on the album. Everybody's not like this. Everybody listens at their own speed. But if it's something a little harder and I'm trying to figure out things, or it's a sample in there that I just can't wrap my mind around, I might listen to a track or two a couple of times just to make sure that I'm giving y'all the proper information along with stuff, and not just opinion and feel, but just the information right. So it depends, but genuinely one time, dog, I could do this shit all day. You feel me? I could give you a live fucking review if I could just sit there and talk to you with the shit player and do that shit, this shit come really, really easy for the girl. But I do appreciate you asking this question, Blitz BK. All right. Next track. You see, I'm so used to doing reviews. Next question on here. Josh So Good. Thank you so much for dropping this one. Top 5 favorite rappers from every borough. Now, I gave y'all my top 10 favorite BK rappers on the last episode of Track Live. So make sure you check that out for that part of it. Yo, this question really got me thinking because it's weird, right? Because, you know, all right. I'm from Brooklyn and stuff like that. So I have favorite rappers around everywhere. You know, Queens, 50 Cent, Nicki Minaj, to be honest with you, just straight up like that. Cool J, Stack Bundles, you feel me? Mr. Cheeks and fucking Freaky Ty. You feel me? All of these people. Manhattan, it's always Big L, Mace, you want to go old school with it, Spoonie G, it's crazy. J.R. Ryder, too. Let me be real clear when I say that to you. The Bronx is always KRS-One, Remy Ma, all day and night. You feel me? Pun. You have Cannabis. And then it's like, I think about people like Positive K and all of these things when you ask me this type of question. And then like Staten Island is unequivocally like, Ghostface Killer, Raekwon, But then it started to make me think about, and it was the Staten Island one that made me thinking about, because Method Man is not from Staten Island. He's from Long Island. He's from Hempstead. So it made me think about, who's my top favorite rappers from Long Island? Like, Hutch Kingpin and Ross Marciano and Rakim originally is from there and all these things like that. And then it's like, we got these other places like Yonkers with DMX and Jadakiss and all these other areas and stuff that we need to start thinking about. Since this whole wave, this like, upstate New York wave is going on, we got to remember that it's other places outside of these boroughs that have produced like, fire artists that we respect and love and stuff. But I really did like this question because it did get me just thinking about like outside of all of this stuff a little bit. So thank you. Salute to you, Ja Good. Ja So Good. Thank you. Next track. Next question on here. Was from Opus 973. First album you bought with your own money. And it's crazy because the first album I physically bought with my own money was Little Kim's Hardcore. Like, I would get albums and shit. I would do like the fake name on the Columbia 12 CDs for a penny and all of this shit. And that's how I got my real introduction into West Coast rap. Because if anybody want to come up, remember those things, it was real West Coast heavy with the selections. Very few East Coast artists was on there. So that's how I got my first like introductions to West Coast rappers and that South Sound and stuff like that. On the come up was through that. But physically, me going to buy my own CD was Little Kim's Hardcore. And I bought Reasonable Doubt the same day too, even though Reasonable Doubt had came out earlier that year. But I distinctly remember buying these two albums for like going into Beat Street and buying these albums. So thank you so much for that, Piz. Next track on next question on here from Jersey the 420 Chef. Salute 3 times. You hear me out there. Bar for bar, best MC alive right now. And when you say best MC alive right now, I still gotta say Hove. I ain't gonna front. Like, you act like we didn't have a project from him last year. We act like we didn't get recent work from him with 444 after that. But like, it's something that made me feel like active, hands down. I gotta get that to Ransom on the low. Like, best MC right now for me, other than Hove, is Ransom. Because Ransom is somebody like, he's spitting these fucking hood scriptures and verses to you, just like real shit, what to look out for, what you doing, and all of this stuff. And you know that he's a real ass nigga. You know that he could talk like how he talk. And I appreciate that shit a lot. So thank you so much, Jersey. Mwah. Next question on here is from the Cleaver. Favorite album from every region. And that's a dope question. It made me think a little bit. Well, East Coast, I'm going to say my favorite album from the East Coast. If it's not hardcore, then it's crazy because it would have to be, Life After Death and then the Black Album. I gotta put all of them together like that. I ain't gonna lie to you. When it comes down to the South, like just being and respecting Scarface so much, that shit is between the Fix and the Diary. Like really though. So all the other stuff can kick rocks. If I had to just pick albums to take with me on like forever, it will be between the Diary and the Fix on that one. Midwest, and I know you're gonna hate me, but my favorite album from the Midwest is Jesus, and I don't know. I don't really care how y'all feel about that. That's one of these albums that impacted me so hard when I first heard it, because just the tone and the talk too. You feel me? Like, just let me know that, you know, this man, he might be off the deep end, but he ain't that far off. He knows exactly what the fuck is going on. And from the West, unequivocally, undoubted, DLC's No One Could Do It Better. You feel me? That's one of my top 5 albums of all time. So salute to you, the Cleaver, for sending your question. Next question on here is from Roll the Kingpin. Good morning, Roll. Are you looking forward to new music from Lloyd Banks? Aren't we all? We're all looking for new music from Lloyd Banks. Is he going to give us a real project? I'm not sure. It was crazy because I was having a discussion. I was out over the weekend, and Lloyd Banks came up in the conversation, and a lot of like Lloyd Banks fans didn't even realize that he was putting out these little freestyles and stuff that's going on. It's crazy that if you're not like really social media based and you was a regular real ass nigga and stuff like that, there is no marketing coming across you that you even know that these things is happening. But I really think that we're all looking for a fucking Banks project this year. And you also asked me, how do I feel about rappers using guns in videos? You know, that never bothered me, like, on a couple of levels, because one, like, yo, we're the only community that if we're showing that we're armed is somehow dangerous and a threat, where people, like, other communities are proud and like take pride in being able to go hunting and this and that and that. And everybody think just because we city that, you know, it got to be on some different type of time and shit. That I don't have no fucking problem with that, whatever. You feel me? I do encourage everybody to have that shit legally so that you could brandish your fucking firearm in a video if you want. You feel me? Like, just follow the rules and everything will be all right. But I don't have a problem with any of that shit. I'm not the one, like, a censorship type of individual, because I feel like if you're of age and is influenced by somebody showing a burner in a video, that's wild to me. And if you are of age, taking care of people that aren't of age, you should not be letting them see that. Or if they see it, make sure you step in and let them understand what the fuck is going on here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's entertainment. That's what they do there. You ain't supposed to be outside on the steps with your burner branch. You will go to fucking jail. You heard? So, you know, it's just one of these things where, like, I don't have a problem with that, but just make sure everybody take the proper steps when they have to. So thank you so much, Ro. I do appreciate your question. Next question is from Check the Rhyme. Hip-hop fashion style trends that you wish would come back. And it's crazy, right? Because if you think about it, the basis of hip-hop fashion have not left. Like, you know, logos and, you know, luxury brands. You feel me? Even fucking baby hairs is back and some shit I never thought would come back in style. Door knockers never left and stuff. You know, I don't want to see oversized clothes come back either, because that shit was kind of egregious. Like, you know, just all of the super sagging and all of that stuff and just wearing shit really, really, you know, right now what's going on, everything is super skinny and it's not even tailored. It's like mad tailored. I don't know. It's just really, really tight. I don't like to see that type of shit either, because it's really, really weird to see niggas out here wearing clothes tighter than me. You feel me? But I don't want that oversized thing to come back. But I don't think too many styles really left. You feel me? One of my favorite go-tos on the come up, those wearing the fucking, you know, Tommy Hilfiger overalls, one pant leg up with a bandana tied around that shit. You feel me? On some LL Cool J shit. That was one of my things that I like to do. You feel me? But other than like wearing your clothes backwards and stuff like that, our main staples of showing that we got money, because that's the biggest thing in hip hop, is to show that you got money and you consistently fresh. That has never really changed. That's never really stepped on the sideline of things, no matter how hard they may have tried to do it. It never really left. So I appreciate you checking around. Thank you so much for your support. Over there, I still need a pair of gold bottoms. I ain't gonna lie to you. maybe two on the side. I don't know. Next question comes from it's Yinsi. Good morning, Yinsi. Your favorite scary movie is crazy because I'm such a horror buff. Like I'm a horror head that nothing scares me like at all. And even like on the come up being little and stuff like that, I was really into Freddy Krueger and like the whole franchise and stuff like that. I might know every one of those movies word for word just on some bullshit. But even that didn't scare me. You know what was the scariest thing for me to watch on the come up? And it's not necessarily a horror movie. It was The Terminator. And the Terminator actually killing 5 or 6 Sarah Connors before he even got to the real Sarah Connor. Once that shit came into my mind and played out that it could be somebody out there that can do that, that was like the scariest shit I've like realized of like a realism type of thing that dog like yo, I could not even be doing nothing and my name could be Sarah Connor and this nigga got beef with Sarah Connors and he just killing all Sarah Connors. That was the scariest thing to me. So I appreciate your question. Yes, here's a couple things up there, a couple movies that got good jump scares that might not even be horror, like Mulholland Drive when the homeless person comes out behind the dumpster and like Insidious when the demon is behind the guy head, like those type of things don't leave you. I really did like Scream 2 when it came out. I ain't gonna front. But I appreciate your question. Next question out here is from Clever_Lane. Has Primo made a real classic beat in the last 3 to 5 years? If so, what one do you think would qualify? And this was a deep question, and this made me ask the timeline, what makes a beat classic? And I got all of these answers of, instrumentality and people spitting over it and stuff like that. Now, it's the parameters involved when it comes down to classic beats. I'm going to straight up answer your question right here, right now. Has Primo made a classic beat in the last 3 to 5 years? No. You know why? Because he hasn't had a hit in 3 to 5 years. Now, he's put out work. He put out PR around 1, 2. You feel me? All of these things. He even got headlines with Griselda, all of this stuff. He made the fucking intro beat for the Joe Budden podcast and all of these things. But what makes a beat classic? It's a lot of things involved because we always say that a classic album is not determined by its sales or its charting or even it being a well-known type of thing. But when it comes down to beats, that's the exact opposite, dog. When it comes down to beats, it has to be impactful when it hit the first time you heard it. And usually that shit is a radio thing. It's something about the radio. And this is why he flourishes in the era that he flourishes in, which is like early 90s to, early 2000s, in my opinion, maybe a little bit after. But it's because the strength of the radio. Like, a classic beat could be on a trash album. A classic track could be on a trash album. And it's not this thing of like, just because they put their hands on it means that it's a classic. That's asinine. You feel me? Just to make some statement, anything Primo touch and shit like that. Nah, that's not how this work, dog. He has not had anything like, he has not had a hit. Just put it like that for the beat to be classic and universal and all of these things. Another thing too, why beats are not considered classics anymore too, nobody's freestyling over these beats. Nobody is freestyling over the beats in the underground that we might like and revere and all of these stuff. Nobody is spitting over this stuff. That's another thing that makes a beat classic. People want to use your beat. So on the come up and stuff like that, when the beat was hot and the beats came out and stuff like that, everybody's spitting over this shit. Everybody is rapping over this shit because the beat is fucking hot. And that's what makes it classic. It makes it classic from impact, how many people have listened to it as a whole that has affected us all the same way. How many people have utilized this beat, like freestyling or anything of that nature. And after time passed for real, how many people go back and like use that beat again or make a reference to that beat. Like we see from Master Flex with all the freestyle and stuff like that, it's always the same array of classic ass beats, and those beats is classic, but they was all hits. So when y'all come and be like, if Prodigy is on it, is this, you're talking about radio hits, you're talking about beats that are linked with radio hits, and we don't really have that going on right now. So it ain't too much of that shit really happening. I know y'all could pull a few from Griselda and all of this, and y'all gonna say this, that, the third, and you know, Freddie Gibbs on this and that. I know what y'all about to do. But if ain't nobody trying to rap over them beats or use them beats neither, like, how classic is the fucking beat, to be honest with you? So I appreciate your question, Clever Lane. Keep it up. Next question on here is from the Trouble Smith. Saw an interview where Billy Woods said Haram is a piece of work you need to sit with. Has your opinion of Haram changed since its release? No, because I haven't sit with it. And I'm going to tell you right here, right now, I do not want an album to fucking grow on me. This is entertainment. This is what y'all do, right? Y'all, music is entertainment, right? Y'all don't see a bad movie and watch that shit till y'all like the shit. When y'all see a bad movie or you go to the movie theater and you spend your money on a fucking movie or you Netflix movie, what you say? That shit is garbage. I don't care if it's a series, 1 or 2 like episodes in your life. That shit is trash and you disassociate yourself with it. I don't know why we feel like we have to make ourselves like a body of work just because it's out there. That shit has never been for me. I don't got time to listen to Haram again. You feel me? Like, period. Point blank, period. If Sir Benny Mouse come on right now, I'm going to let it rock. You feel me? But I'm not going to listen to that shit. Period. That's it. So I appreciate your question on the Troublesmith, but nah, I'm not that one. I'm not that nigga. I'm not trying to sit here and brainwash my shit to like that shit. Just have a conversation with y'all, say some shit is dope. Nah, the shit was trash. And we knew it was trash. You made yourself fucking like the album for no fucking reason. You could have been spending time reading a fucking book for all of that. But as we continue, next question on here, Skinny Chubs 94. Which trap artist you feel could go bar for bar with upper tier rappers? It's crazy because like y'all discredit now it's so convoluted, but in the beginning of fucking mumble rap, like, you know, the Future and Migos and all of these people like that, if you dissect their bars, they're spitting some shit. Now we got, like, you know, Lil Baby out there like that. He's saying some shit in these fucking bars. But because the delivery is off for y'all don't fuck with it. It kind of reminds me of, like, the dancehall scene where I always say, like, you know, some of these artists, this ain't the most gangsterous bars, but you can't get over the delivery of it. You're not going to respect it either way. But, you know, there's a couple of them out there where it's just like a style clash on things. But the ones that can pull it off, like the Futures and the Migos, you see them working with other people. You see them work with everybody. So, you know, it's really hard because a lot of people are not really interested in trap music. But the trap. The girls like that shit. I always listen to all of that shit too. Next question on here. Thank you for your question, though. It's really hard to answer that one. Next question on here, Mr. Promo Champ. Your favorite MC, hold hands down. Anybody who knows me knows that. When is your merch dropping? Shout out to Nan Lib. We are trying to get this thing together just to bring the merch to you. It should be in a week or two. Like, I ain't gonna front. I'm trying to just have enough little stuff so that, you know, y'all can all support it how y'all like to, and y'all can look dope and, you know, have some conversations about some of the stuff that we're putting out over there. So salute to you, Nan. Thank you so much for working with me. It's crazy as hell. I love her so much. And thank you, Promo Champ, for your question. Next question on here is from at 313201260 Blood Sorcery. Nah, you crazy for that. Please analyze Tech's Brooklyn Shootouts video. I've watched it 20 times and would like your interpretation of the storyline. Been a fan of yours for a while. It's good to see you getting the respect you deserve. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that so much. Thank you. Well, I did go and watch the video because you asked me to. And it's weird because I see what you're saying, like, you know, at the end. Well, it starts off with, like, you know, the undercover running down on this guy and telling, you know, I'm going to catch you when the time is right and stuff like that. Then he's talking to his girl or, you know, a positive female figure in his life that's saying all these things, like, you know, you're going to get found out, they're going to find you out, whatever you're doing. And then, you know, it goes into a whole bunch of stuff, you know, bitches snitching on niggas, bitches being informants in this video, and all of this stuff, and they pull a jukes and they rob this fucking trap house or whatever. And on the way back from robbing the trap house, this guy, he gets pulled over by the dirty cop. So he has all the work on him that he stole from the trap house. So, you know, he pulls a gun on the cop pulls a gun on him, and then like cuts off. So you want to know what happens in this standoff and shit like that. It's crazy because, dog, they probably shot each other the fuck up. But I was really interested in why you were so entertained by that video in particular, where I ain't gonna hold you, dog. That shit really wasn't like that. I thought I was about to get into some real mind-blowing shit, and it's like, okay, who killed who at the end, the cop or the fucking robber? And like, dog, they killed each other, fuck it. But I appreciate your support throughout all of this blood sorcery. Next question on here is from the Man03, one of my longtime niggas over there, day ones. Let's go. Which artist started off with conscious rap but switched up to stay relevant? Is it Uchi Wally Wally or is it One Mike? That's it. That's all. Next question is from my guy Lucky. Are you ever going to do a segment of ranking people's discography on the channel and in the future? That's not really something I do, you know what I mean? Like, if I get bored one day, I might do that. That's not really something that interests me to do. Like, I don't really want to rank nobody's discography. I'll save that for everybody else to do. But if I get bored one day, I might take an artist and try to do that with. But I ain't really beat for that. I ain't gonna lie. What's your opinion of Little Dev and Kurt, if you ever heard of them? I've never heard of them, so I'm sorry. So I just let you know that. Lucky, you feel me? You want to introduce me to them? Send me they links, you heard? Put me up on some shit. But I appreciate your questions as always, because you hit me with 1,000 questions sometimes too in the comments. I'll be like, dog, I'll be trying to get around to it, so I'm gonna step up my game on that note. Next question on here, at Obi the God, do you review mixtapes? I believe I do. I believe it's a couple mixtapes on the channel that I reviewed and might not even know it's a fucking mixtape. You feel me? Unless some shit is dropping exclusively on datpiff.com, do we know if it's really a mixtape unless the artist says that it's a mixtape or says it's an album or says it's an EP or says what it is? So I'm pretty sure I do and have reviewed mixtapes, but it's really hard to determine that type of work right now. So salute to you on that question. Next question on here from Yilly YILLY Stewart. With your natural talent for hearing and analyzing dope hip hop, do you think you could ghost a Hot 16? Hell yes. I do, and I have wrote for people in the past. You feel me? It's crazy because I always make a reference to, I got a friend that I would write for and stuff, and I would write verses for, and they wasn't an artist. They would go around and sell the fucking verses to rappers multiple times over. So it's a couple verses out there that's mine that like 5 people done bought the same fucking verse, but he's always in front, man. You want to beef, you go with him and stuff. And that was always back in the day. But yeah, I write periodically and stuff like that. I have no interest in rapping or none of that. Like, a lot of people be trying to get me to battle rap and shit like that too. I have no interest in doing anything like that, to be honest with you. I am good where I'm at, all right? But I do appreciate you seeing the talent, dog. We right here with it. I feel you. Next question on here, Beef. What's for dinner at Beef? What's for dinner? Battle rap today versus your day. A prepared 3 rounds versus unlimited rounds spontaneously. You know, I like where battle rap has gone. That it's just more like a show type of thing. That is like, you know, it's an event type of thing where, you know, it was crazy back in the day that niggas would literally rhyme all night until somebody gave up. And it was this thing of like, what you saying ain't even gotta be the hottest shit no more, as long as you don't give up first is what's going on. Or you could show your dexterity in that. But I do like this approach where it's just, you know, these 3 prepared rounds. You know, we do see some battle rap today that have, you know, untimed rounds and all of this stuff where you could just go off and go hard as long as you like. But I think that they should somehow bring back, you feel me, the fine people at URL and Caffeine should bring back unlimited rounds, a little bit like that spontaneous, like you just keep spitting till one of y'all fuck up, and that's how y'all lose. I do appreciate that. A little sidebar note that we can give URL and Smack Beef what's for dinner. Thank you so much. I believe this is the last list of questions here. It's 3 questions from Gotham Down. You feel me? This is some crazy shit right here. Who saw for Westside Gunn for subbing Hus, or Hus for noticing the subs were meant for him? Alright, like, I like a good sneak diss. I like a sub too. You feel me? I ain't gonna hold you. I'm all for hip-hop beef and all of this, but you can never be fucking soft for noticing somebody's talking about you. If you know that they're talking about you and they're not saying your name, they're the soft ones for not saying your name instead of and just subbing you. You feel me? So my most famous favorite artists fucking just don't do nothing but sneak diss and sub people. Jay-Z mainly. You feel me? But I don't think that Hus is like soft for noticing and responding to that shit, to be honest with you. So no, I think that Westside Gunn is softer for actually subbing instead of just saying a nigga name on wax. You feel me? Put it out there like that. Do you think Westside Gunn got back with Mac Homie because he knew his own wave was dying down? His wave is not dying down. And, you know, when this whole thing popped off, because I'm not really sure what they beef was or why they separated themselves from each other in the first place or whatever have you. But when this thing, like, came up, right, it's like, okay, you're trying to fulfill a gap. I don't think he trusts Benny, to be honest with you. I think he's trying to fill in that void that Benny is about to fucking take off with some of the movies he's made, and he might not be on that same thing. So to fill in that gap, because these guys work a lot. So you see out of the 3 of them, you know, Westside Gunn drops multiple projects. Conway drops multiple projects. You've been seeing Benny not drop as many projects. So he might be trying to fill in that gap of Benny not dropping multiple projects and doing these more, you know, concise things or whatever have you with Mac Homie. And I don't think what Mac Homie actually needs anybody. He got his own thing going on, standing firm with what he does over there. You know, he charges a lot for his projects and stuff. I don't think he really need to be with anybody, but I think it's more so Westside Gunn trying to fill out that gap of, like, you know, those extra 2 or 3 projects they was used to seeing some money on that. Benny ain't putting out them projects, you feel me? So I think that's what's going on there. You gotta understand, Benny got his own deals and all this other stuff going on, and the work will tell you, the credits will tell you who's getting paid off for which albums and why. Final question on here, Gotham Down. Do you think Mac washes his bandana? I deadass think Mac Homie has a bunch of Haitian flags, like a Kleenex tissue in his fucking house, that every time he just fucking walks out the door, he pulls one out, he puts it on, he goes about his business. I don't think he's some dirty ass nigga like that. I ain't gonna front. I ain't never been around a nigga. I don't fucking know. You feel me? But I ain't gonna call a man dirty and shit like that until things prove otherwise. You heard? But I do appreciate all the questions from everybody. Thank you guys so much for that. Make sure you let me know how y'all feel about some of these questions on here. But I'm about to get out of here. I'm Madam Money. You can follow me on Twitter and IG at Madam Money Says. That's MADAMMONEYSAYS. And as always, I'll be seeing you guys around. Peace. Let me go wash my Haitian flags.
Ready, steady aim at the target. I'm flooding the market, a break from the garbage. An artist, sensitive about mind pardon. No margin for error, flawless be rarer. The black cat goddess, you walking with a panther. Painting these pictures with words like Samantha MacGyver. Alchemy on the track, make it lava. And I won't stop rocking till I retire. Singular or plural, she make numero uno. Colder than you know.